Hey guys, I want to take a second and thank Comfort Pro. Since 2001, Comfort Pro has been helping customers stay comfortable where they live, work, and play. They have 24/7 emergency service and a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. If you need help with your heating and air conditioning or indoor air quality, call Comfort Pro at 484-917-1803. Mention the show and receive a free humidifier with the installation of a complete system.
From real estate
Affects the market as a whole, which then sometimes will affect the technical.
Right, and it'll come in.
to real life.
We all learn in different ways. If you think about it, Wayne Dyer might not attract everybody.
And everything in between.
Mission was really to help people just to reach their full potential.
The Brad Weisman Show. And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
All right. Wow. It is Thursday again.
Thursday.
That's again. Right. It's unbelievable. So, no, this is going to be an interesting show. Something happened to me. This is several months ago. I think actually we talked about it was around the Christmas time. And I wanted to tell you this, Hugo, because this story is pretty interesting. I was my eye doctor, who is Mervet Hachem, she said, if you ever have any issues, like if you see any flashes of light, or if you ever see something that doesn't look right, she had said because of your prescription that that you definitely want to let me know if you see something like that. So I'm going to take the kids to CCD, and I'm seeing these flashes off to the right hand side. Now it's raining, so I'm thinking it's probably just somebody's lights.
Yeah.
It's car or lightning. Yes, exactly. Something. It's like a car or something lights, and then it keeps happening. Then on the way home, I do this. I cover my left eye, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely just the right eye. This is kind of weird. I get home. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to go away. I'll wake up tomorrow. I'll be fine. So I start brushing my teeth, which is good. So I have good dental health too. Brushing my teeth. And as I brush my teeth, all of a sudden this, like a spider starts going across my eye, like inside my eyeball. And I was like, all right, this is not good at all. So thank goodness we have a friend. Her name is Mervet Hachem. She's an optometrist, and she's my optometrist. And she's also a friend of the family. And I said to Jess, do you have her phone number? I need to get in touch with her. Jess was like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I said, no, I'm going to. So I thought we got to get her in here because there's other people that are going to be going through. So I want to introduce Mervet. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I can see.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God is right. Holy mackerel. That was a scary night for me.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. It's every time I hear the story, it sounds pretty traumatic for the individual.
Right. And it really was. And Hugo didn't really care. I mean, he's just sitting here.
I've seen those spiders too when I was a little boy.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Inside your eyes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's
it was very hot where I grew up. So I will always tell my mom, I was carrying a big chunk of wood, and I would say, Mom, my eyes hurt. I said, no, you're just lazy.
You're just lazy.
And
oh, wow.
Just slap me on the head. No, just hurry up.
Little different around here. We don't do that. That's pretty funny. So you should have met Mervet. She would have helped you out. She would have helped you out. Absolutely. Sure. She wouldn't have smacked you in the head. But no, so that was an interesting night. The floater thing scared the crap out of me. I had floaters before. You have those little ones that you'll see sometimes. But this thing was like massive, like coming over. And thank goodness, we know you, and you were able to come in that night into the office and checked it out. And you saw it right away. You're like, whoa, this is a big floater.
But thank God it was a floater.
Thank God it was a floater. So, what could that have been? How bad could that have been?
So the reason why I wanted to see you that night is because retinal detachments are time sensitive.
Okay.
So if you have a retina detaching superiorly from the top and it's starting to come down.
Right.
And then once it gets to the middle of your vision and kind of takes that.
Yeah.
That is a different kind of detached retina. It's called a macula off retinal detachment.
Oh.
Once that macula, which is a part of our eye where we get all of our good vision from.
Yeah.
Once that's gone, it makes the repair of a detached retina much more difficult, and it could make some pretty serious permanent vision loss.
Right. So if it was the worst case scenario, I could have gone blind in that eye, right? Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yep. And then how fast was I going to get you in for a repair?
Yeah.
So all of that.
It's all timely, very timely.
It is. It's very timely, which makes making those decisions of, do you see now? Do you see it tomorrow morning? What do you do?
Yeah.
It makes all those decisions a lot harder. Now, a retina specialist will decide, so if I would have called a retina specialist that night and say, hey, I have a friend here, his retina is detached, they would ask a bunch of questions and then they might say, okay, well, I think we're good till tomorrow morning.
Gotcha.
But you need all that information
Gotcha.
to get to that point.
And that's information that we just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't know
Sure.
how to tell somebody that.
Sure.
Well, I'm very fortunate to have you as a friend and be able to take that text and that call. And it did work out, and it's still there. I mean, I still see it. And like you said, it's something that it just really never goes away. It kind of settles down sometimes, and then sometimes it kind of rears up. You know what I've found too, and I wanted to talk to you about this. When I'm driving during the day, if I don't have sunglasses on, it's really annoying.
Yes.
Because I think all the bright light is making that shadow in the back of the retina.
Like a white wall or a blue sky?
Oh, that's horrible.
Like if you're in a bathroom.
Oh, yes, it's terrible. That's it. Brushing my teeth is where I really see it.
So that's why you called me after you brushed your teeth, because you were like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, it was just so vivid. I mean, it was not like I thought at first there was literally a bug going across the mirror when I was brushing my teeth. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a bug. That's inside my eye.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, man.
And, a lot of people describe it as cobwebs or a bug, or I'm like swatting at a fly that's not actually there. A lot of people describe it that way. It's is there a curtain or a veil coming down over your vision?
Yeah.
The flashing lights happen with a floater.
Okay.
And they also happen with a detached retina.
Oh, so it does it on both.
Yep. And then sometimes the kind of floater that you had can also detach your retina later.
Oh, Jesus.
Remember, I had to see you back.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I came back, and you even said there was a little bit of bleeding in the back there, too. Remember that?
That's right. You did.
And then it healed. But by the time I came in 3 or 4 days later, that had already dissipated.
The blood was gone.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Well, and is it something, let's talk about this. You had said the reason that I had that was because my eyes are so bad. My right eye is really bad.
So let's talk about that. The reason why you had a posterior vitreal detachment, which is what yours was called, the special kind of floater, is because the back part of the eye is filled. So when I say the back, let me bring out my trusty.
Oh, we got. Oh, you could show that up there too. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, there you go.
This entire back part. So this is the front. This is your cornea. This is the part that where you put your contact lens on.
Yep.
And then this is the lens that's inside the eye. We'll talk about cataracts later.
Yep.
This whole back part where your retina is, it's just,
it's big fluid, right?
So it's like a gel fluid.
A gel.
And then what happens is that gel fluid, as we age, and when we get to a certain age, it will start to that gel fluid will start to like liquefy. And when it liquefies, it contracts and kind of comes forward off the back part of the eye.
Oh.
So then you get this special kind of floater called a posterior vitreal detachment, which is what you got when it finally pulls off
the back of the
where the
eye.
optic nerve is.
Gotcha.
So, and because that optic nerve is smack dab in the middle back there, that floater is annoying because it's right in the middle of your vision.
Yeah, right.
So that is the kind of floater that you had, but because of how nearsighted you are, I was petrified that it was actually a detached retina.
Because you said I'm more prone for that because of the fact that my eye is elongated, correct? That eye's done.
Correct. Yeah.
That person can no longer see. It's over for them.
So correct. Your eye is longer because you're nearsighted. So your eye is longer. So that retina, it's the same retina we all have. So that retina is a really thin, what's the retina?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
first
let's do the retina. Let's figure out what it is.
It's actually many layers, but very, very, very thin layers that is adjacent to the back part of the eye. That retina has a bunch of cells and photoreceptors that collect the light as it comes into our eye. And then it turns that signal into something that the brain can read.
It's unbelievable.
So it sends those signals to the brain through that optic nerve. And so that retina is super important.
Yeah. Are your kitchen and bathroom way overdue for a remodel? Well, I got the guy for you. Call John Sellers at First Response Contracting, 484-256-7136. Both residential and commercial services, and he's licensed and insured. Call him at 484-256-7136. First Response Contracting.
And that retina is there when we're born. And when we're born, our eye is smaller. So we're usually farsighted when we're born.
Oh, wow.
And then we can either kind of stay farsighted, stop, or become nearsighted. So,
Yeah. What makes it keep going? I mean, is it just
it's just kind of
muscles and stuff?
It's the same as like why are some people 6'5" and some people 6
Gotcha.
foot?
Okay.
Like it's
So
encoded in your DNA.
it's there.
Yeah, and hereditary.
So it is hereditary.
It can be.
Oh, okay.
It can be. Like
okay.
I don't know about your children, but your amount
They're so far so good.
well, knock on wood.
Knock
thank
on wood.
God.
Jess has good eyes.
Good.
She barely, well, you know,
Yes,
you
yes,
see her.
yes.
She barely needs glasses. I
Right.
mean, it's like nothing.
But the amount of myopia that you have is typically can be hereditary. Not all.
My mom and dad are both, it's terrible.
Oh, see, yeah.
They're both terrible. Yeah.
So the good news is it would have probably already showed up in both your children. Definitely your oldest.
I
for
think
sure.
we're good so far.
Thank God.
I was
That's
wearing
awesome.
glasses at like, seriously, like really young.
Yeah, like 6, 7.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I was wearing contacts by like 10 or 11, I think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
it's crazy. And it just kept getting worse, over time.
yeah.
But now it's kind of settled in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's settled
For sure.
in now.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
goodness. Jesus. I wouldn't be, dude, I wouldn't make it to the studio. I mean, geez.
I mean, as you were growing, it was really changing
Yeah.
because it kind of goes with growth.
Oh, it does. Okay.
For a good amount. I mean, up until, the eye can still change after you're done
Right.
growing, but when you have your growth spurts, you're going to have those bigger changes. So, between the ages of maybe 10 and 15, 16, we see these big jumps usually.
That's when it was.
Yeah.
That's when I really went real fast.
And then after a certain age,
Oh yeah, and I have that too. Yeah, I have both of that.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything. I don't know where this is going to end up. Maybe a dog at some point.
you know where it's going to end up? One of these days,
Yeah.
you'll be old enough and you'll get
Yes.
cataracts.
That's what you keep saying.
And then when they remove that cataract lens, let's go back to my trusty
let's go look
little
at
eye model here.
Let's look at this, the trusty eye model. Move your water bottle there a second, just so people can see. There you go. If you're listening to this on Spotify or something like that, she has actually a big eyeball here that she's showing what these things are. So if you get a chance, watch it on YouTube so you can see everything.
So we're going to go from back to front.
Yeah.
This is the cornea,
Yep.
which is
That's where my contact goes.
exactly. And people think it's the colored part of the eye, but it's actually not the colored part of the
It's
eye.
clear.
It's clear.
Right.
And then behind that is the color part of the eye. Behind the color part of the eye, which is called the iris,
Yep.
behind that is a lens.
Okay.
So this is the lens that will become cloudy with time.
Gotcha.
And this is this is where the cataract is. That
Gotcha.
cloudiness is a cataract.
Is that okay? That's what that is.
So then this has a bunch of power. You see how thick that is?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So remember when
it's thicker.
it's pretty thick. So remember many years ago when you would see an older person and they would have Coke bottles.
Oh yes.
That was because they had this removed and they didn't put an artificial one back in. And so now they need this Coke bottle
Oh my gosh, just to
in order to see.
Oh gosh.
So now we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They remove this, they put an artificial one in, and guess what they do? Since this one has so much power to it, let's say this is a plus 20,
Yeah.
and let's say your prescription is a minus 10, which is pretty
Not where
close
it's
to what
at.
you are.
Yep.
They would just put a plus 10 in there,
Get out of here.
fix your prescription up
Awesome. And then you don't need contacts then.
for distance. You'll still need
You
something.
still need some for reading, right?
And we're very lucky in this area. We've got great cataract surgeons. I'll set you up with a great one.
I've heard that.
Yes.
My dad had it done. And
Okay.
he wore glasses his whole life. Started getting cataract, and he went in and he hasn't worn glasses since then.
Isn't it weird to see?
But it
them
was
like that?
weird because as a kid, I was like, maybe you should put them back on. I'm not sure if I like your face without them. And my mom even said, my mom's like, oh, I'm not used to you like
So
this.
I have some patients that'll come back in
Yeah.
and they'll say, my wife said I need to get glasses.
I have to wear glasses. What do you do? Just give them clear glass? I mean, what?
Well, so they'll still get a bifocal. So then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe clear on top, maybe
Yeah.
there's a little prescription left over, and then the reading part on bottom.
Yeah.
So they'll still wear them because some people just don't know who they are without
Without
glasses.
glasses. And it's funny. I just do not like I have glasses for at night, which you guys set me up for when I'm watching TV or whatever and at nighttime. But I cannot stand doing anything with them on. Like, I don't know how anybody can exercise with glasses on. Or how do you here's my thing, putting something together.
Yeah.
Like, during the holidays, you're putting something and they're moving down and you got to push them up. That drives me nuts.
True. And when you're sweating.
Sweating, it's horrible. They slide. It's terrible. Yeah. It's contacts to me, best invention ever.
Yeah. I mean,
It's the best. It's the best.
Yeah,
But once I get the cataract, then I'm doing that. I'm doing that lens
Exactly.
thing. Yeah, that's definitely.
so,
gonna happen.
and then there are other options with the cataract. You can get like a multifocal lens, which will correct your distance and your reading.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So there's lots of options.
All kinds of
I
stuff.
don't remember, but I don't think your astigmatism's real bad.
No, it's not.
Right. So
it's in my right eye, but it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's not
so
bad.
those are that you're having your shirt there. Those are reading glasses.
Yes.
Those are your old man glasses.
Yep, my old man glasses. She had to say old man glasses, didn't she? Unbelievable. Yeah, these are my reading glasses. But you know what? They work. They're like 1 1/4 or something like that. It works perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, and they're cheap. You can just buy them anywhere. I got them on Amazon.
Those look pretty cool.
Thank you.
They're kind of stylish. I like them.
I buy all these little crazy ones that I buy on Amazon. They're awesome.
But why aren't they red?
It's so funny. I have red ones coming.
Oh my God.
Yes, I just finally found a really nice pair of red
wife's
reading
gonna
glasses.
kill me for saying
she
that.
is going to kill you for saying that. Yeah. So she'll be like, I wish he had more floaters.
Yeah.
No, she's good. She's good. So let's go into, here's some other stuff. Now, we just passed the pollen season.
Yes.
So why do our eyes do that? Watery, itchy, like terrible. Is there anything can we wash our eyes out with stuff? Is there something you could do to get rid of the pollen?
So it is, great question. Just like why do allergies affect our nose? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
They get in
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
They literally get in there.
Because it's in the air.
Yep. So it literally gets in there. And so you can actually have an actual allergy, infection in your eyes, or it could just be really dry from all of what's going on in the air.
Gotcha.
Even last year when we had all those fires in Canada.
We're having them again.
And we're having them again. Mm-hmm. Yes. That was a rough time for a lot of my patients too, because same thing, even though it wasn't pollen, it's was
particulates.
Poor air quality.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so that's going to get in your eyes and it's going to dry you out.
And that's interesting.
So the itchiness is a difficult thing because that is very hard to deal with. So there are allergy eye drops over the counter you can get, and they'll take care of that. And antihistamine, just like you were taking your Allegra or your
and
Claritin.
that works.
Sure.
Too. Yeah.
But that dries your eyes out then too.
Yeah. Oh, right. Because it's an antihistamine. It's actually a drying agent. Yes. You're right. Because it's supposed to dry up your.
So it's a very difficult thing to take care of. So it's almost like, well, these are my allergy eye drops. These are my lubricating eye drops. These are, what do I do about all this? So, there's lots of things that we can do for dry eye to kind of help. But I feel like, 17 years this month I've been.
Wow.
In practice.
Good for you.
I know. It's crazy. Like,
a lot of eyes.
How did I get that?
A lot of eyeballs.
It is a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
So I feel like the dry eye situation is just getting worse.
Wow.
Every year that I'm in practice, I'm like, how?
Well, you hear it on the radio or on XM all the time. They're talking about dry eye. But what is dry eye the symptom of something, or is it something that's wrong with your eye, or what is it?
So it's something that's wrong with your eye. So you can have dry eye temporarily from like a fan blowing at your face,
of course,
and then like until you replenish it, it's dry for a few seconds. You can have dry eye because you don't produce enough tears.
Oh.
So those tears are going to come out from these pores.
Those are people that are heartless, by the way. They have no heart. They don't cry. They don't. Just kidding. Go ahead. So it's from just not producing enough tears. So your tear ducts are not. Or
the tears that you do produce don't have enough. So there's 3 layers in your tears: a fat layer, an oil layer, and a watery layer.
Unbelievable.
And if you don't have if there's too much, not enough oil, then it won't stay on and it will evaporate a lot faster.
Interesting.
Okay. So
it's not just salt water. It's not just like a saline. It's actually oil in there to keep it so it doesn't dry.
Correct. So if something's wrong with the chemistry of your tears, let's put it that way, then you might dry out faster. Yeah. So I have horrible dry eye.
Oh, no way.
No fan can ever be pointed towards me.
Wow.
I would never be able to wear contact lens.
Really?
I wouldn't even be able to tolerate it. Yeah, you're very lucky that you don't have dry eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would not, minute it goes on there, it just takes
everything out, all the moisture.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Everything that I have on there, it takes
That
it
is
out.
So crazy, right?
So I actually put a little piece of collagen, tiny little piece of collagen in this little hole in the bottom part of my eyelid called the puncta.
Uh-huh.
I put a little piece of collagen in there and it expands. And then after a couple months, it dissolves. And then I put another piece of collagen in there.
How do you get collagen in there?
They're called punctal plugs. It's an actual thing. I do this at my practice.
You're kidding me.
And I swear to God.
You put little plugs in the tear duct?
Yep. So it's called the puncta.
Crazy.
Yes.
And that actually helps it.
Because think about it. I'm clogging the drain. The tears drain out of that hole. It goes to the back of the nose and the back of the mouth. So I'm clogging that drain.
Oh my gosh.
And then the tears I am producing will at least stay on my eye.
Unbelievable. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And so there's also, I had one of these before. I had wasn't it just a sty? It was in the middle. It's called Chalazion, I think it was called. Had one of those and had it removed. Had it surgically removed.
So usually it starts off as a sty or what we call hordeolum. and then it can harden.
That's what happened.
And when it hardens, it's
He
called
said
vitreous.
there's nothing you can do. He said
Yeah.
you have to, they
So
have to
they
cut. Oh yeah.
pull down,
did not
cut.
feel, it was in the top. And I
Yeah.
remember him saying to me, he goes, this is going to feel like a little bee sting, right? I don't know what kind of bees this guy got stung by because I gripped the chair and I went, and he goes, I said, you need to check out the bee sting story because it's not true.
It's not true.
No. And he did. But then once he cut it, got it out, it was fine.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It's not the most comfortable
No,
thing.
it was not fun.
But if you don't do that, it'll stay there forever.
Right. And it was very annoying. It was
Yeah.
very sore and annoying and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
let's move on. So we got summer coming up.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do to protect our eyes from the sun? I mean, we're always trying to protect our skin. We're trying to protect, but what do we do for eyes?
So same thing as your skin. You got to cover it up, right? You got to put your sunscreen on. You got to put your sunglasses on.
Yeah.
So UV protection sunglasses are better than nothing.
Okay.
Polarized sunglasses are even better.
That's what I have. Yeah.
And-
like a Ray-Ban or what's the other one? There's a bunch of other sunglasses that have the really good stuff
So
on them.
nobody's going to do this, but
Yeah.
the best thing would be, those old fashioned cataract surgery
Yes.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Your dad
Those
still have a
big
pair.
dark ones?
Well, think about it. It's protecting from all angles.
That's a real sexy look on the beach, by the way. What do you think, Hugo? Should we get some of those? Oh my gosh.
I'll bring some by.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And imagine the tan line too. You go to dinner that night,
It would be on the side.
it would look like you still have them on. Oh my gosh, no way. So those actually they're that good for protecting for UV.
Absolutely, because they're blocking all.
Everything.
I wear fashion sunglasses too.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding? You know what I mean? But absolutely, I can always tell a difference when I have my aviators that real thin
Yes.
on the temples and
Yes.
stuff, and more sun's getting in, and I have some that are thicker,
Yeah.
and I can definitely feel like
Yeah.
I'm being better protected.
And when you're laying down in the sand and you're trying to get a tan or whatever, you're out there and you're absorbing the sun because sun is good to a certain point.
Yeah.
You need to have those on, not just closing your eyes.
Yeah.
Because it still goes through your eyelids,
Correct.
doesn't it?
Correct.
I've heard that.
To a degree,
A lot of
absolutely.
people say that your eyelids don't
Correct.
do everything.
Correct. That's why in a tanning bed they make you wear those
things.
those little things.
Yeah.
But a hat is also really important too.
Okay.
Because when you're wearing sunglasses, most of the time you're not wearing cataract surgery
Right.
sunglasses, and so that hat will add that extra
Typically not,
protection.
yeah.
Typically not. The hat will add that extra protection. So kids are tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 3,
Yeah.
and making them wear sunglasses.
3
and
boys,
hats,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And making them wear their sunglasses and hats is not easy. So I understand that.
Yeah.
I really do. But it's very important. So it can make cataracts come
Oh, really?
a lot faster. Smoking
Wow.
and sun exposure are the 2 bigger high risks
For cataracts.
For cataracts, yes.
Wow.
And other things like vascular disease, diabetes,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But yes,
Interesting.
and it can cause damage to the retina. Solar eclipse time.
Oh, yes. You got to be careful with that one.
You got to be careful with
Absolutely.
that one. And I had my first person with the damage that you can get
What does
on
that
your
do?
retina.
If I'm looking at that, what does it do? It just burns the back of your retina?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very specific spot that I was talking about earlier. That's
Yep.
very important to our eyes. And I had one. When was that? This past year?
Yeah, I think we had one this year. There was a solar. I think there was a solar eclipse.
I don't know if it was
last
2025
year.
or 2024.
Might have been last year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so I had a patient this year.
Yeah, it was because I was with the kids. We did the whole thing. You put a pin and you can see that all that stuff. Yeah.
Did they have their solar eclipse
Yes,
glasses?
we did.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, the school gave them out.
Oh, yeah.
The school gave them out.
Yes.
Wilson gave them out, which
Yes,
was great.
they did.
Yep.
They did. Yeah, that's right. They did give them out, which I thought was very interesting of the school to take on that huge task.
It's a huge task, but it was cool because it was a nice learning experience, and
Absolutely.
I was there for that too.
Oh,
It was
you
neat.
were?
Yeah, I went there with the kids to meet
that's
with them. Yeah, it was
cool.
neat.
I like that.
I love that kind of stuff. I'm into it. So it actually burns. That's permanent then.
So it can be
Yeah.
permanent, or it can kind of slowly come back, and you might have some residual damage from it. In this particular situation, he lost 2 lines of acuity, and we did not get them back.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
2 lines of acuity.
So
What does that mean?
when you read those letters,
that's
for
what
me,
it. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So he was 2 lines up from the bottom, and that's
It's gone. Mm-hmm. Whoa. In both eyes or just one?
no. In his situation, it was one eye because he said he closed one.
Oh jeez. Well, at least he
have
was
another
protecting
eye,
one eye. He's like, if this doesn't work, oh man, that's crazy. And I always tell the kids, you can. Everybody says this too. You cannot look at the sun during sunset either. Everybody thinks at sunset it's okay because it's less harsh. It's that you don't feel it really.
Yeah.
But at sunsets, it's still, you're still looking at the sun.
Yeah.
It's still, that's why you got to look away. Just look a little bit, look away, look, you know what I mean?
And we use completely different cells to see at night than we do during the day.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why a lot of people have trouble with dusk and dawn, because we're kind of in between which ones are supposed to be during the day light and which ones at night. And so we're kind of in that in between period. So people will complain all the time about like their dusk and dawn vision.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always notice if I need an upgrade in my prescription, I notice it at night with driving on the signs. As soon as it starts to get a little blurry, you're like, oh man, this is happening
and
again.
If it's raining.
Oh, it's even worse. Yeah, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So let's go into some of the the real serious stuff. Let's talk about the big ones that people really need to be aware of, and maybe some of the signs for that. You know, we talked about cataract a little bit. Let's talk about, we have glaucoma, which is a pressure, I believe, in the eye, if I'm not mistaken.
So good question. Glaucoma is like a group of diseases that affect the optic nerve. So that nerve inside the eye.
Yep, the one in the back there.
Yep, the one all the way in the back here. So it's glaucoma is a disease of that nerve.
Oh, wow.
So high eye pressure can cause that nerve to become sick.
Oh, okay.
And diseased. And so glaucoma is an interesting disease because you have no symptoms at all.
Oh, geez.
Until you're like,
it's too late.
I mean, I don't like to say too late.
But it's pretty far along.
Mm-hmm. So with glaucoma, that's something that we have to catch on routine exams.
You check for that every year
single time
when I come in. I think I come in every year, right? It's once a year.
It's every year, yeah.
So every year I come in, you guys are checking that.
So we check your pressure because that's puts you at, if your pressure is higher, puts you at risk for glaucoma.
Gotcha.
So why does that nerve become diseased? So that's a very difficult thing to answer.
Right.
We don't have so we have so many tools in our toolkit for helping with glaucoma, but most of those tools involve getting that pressure down.
Oh, gotcha.
But you can have normal tension glaucoma when your pressure is completely normal, but your nerve is still
diseased.
Yep, degenerating. With
My dad has glaucoma.
Does he?
Yeah.
Is it under control?
I think. Yeah, he's medicated and he gets checked all the time.
So if it's caught early, it really can prolong before anybody has any
and he's been
symptoms.
fine, and he's had it for years, but he's always
glaucoma
checked
takes
on
your
it.
side vision.
And
then in the worst case scenario, it would just keep going like this until it reached complete blindness.
Wow.
In the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So
he's good. He's 77. He still sees pretty well. And
and then that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, how long is our optic nerve going to last us?
Yeah, exactly.
We're outliving,
Is there things that we are doing in order to have better eye health that we didn't know years ago?
Well, I mean, just in glaucoma alone, all the different things that they can do now to, get that pressure down, to keep that optic nerve healthy. It's amazing, So it's technology.
Yeah. So everybody should be getting their eyes checked once a year,
100%.
whether or not you have glasses or need glasses or have been using contacts.
Exactly.
Because something like that, there's no way you would know
until it's
too late.
Yes.
So it's such a good thing to do.
Absolutely.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So let's let's go into one of the other things too here before we wrap this up. The LASIK, which has become this, you hear it all the time. And, it has done wonders for people.
Absolutely.
Is that still the thing? Is that still how we're correcting vision?
Interestingly enough, LASIK is not as popular around here as it was prior to COVID.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's, because of the added cost.
Right.
I don't know if it's.
That's a weird thing because what would that have to do with COVID? You know what I mean? Like, how would COVID affect that? But there's got to be something. And cost would be one.
Right. I mean, cost,
but they usually do really
inflation.
good ways of paying for it. Don't they usually like monthly payments? You can do all kinds of stuff with that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different ways to help out with that. So, real quick, you would not qualify for traditional LASIK.
I've been told that. You know who told me that?
Yeah.
Daryl told me that.
Okay.
He told me that a while ago.
But you would qualify for them to put in a lens right behind this other lens that we already have in there. They would put a lens just like the prescription that would be in your contacts. They would put a little lens right here.
Behind it.
Yep. And it's just an implant. And
then is that something they put you out for? Is that something that is it kind of like LASIK where you're just kind of there and your head
just make you happy.
They make you happy.
Yeah. They don't put you out for it because they want you awake and they want to be able to, have you.
That sounds like it'd be more expensive too than just LASIK. Yeah.
That one's a little bit more
A little
expensive.
bit more
So I
pricey.
can't tell if it's the expense or if it's, just people getting nervous to do
it.
such a thing. I have to say my brother and my sister both had it done. I have to say I didn't need it. I would have if I needed it.
So you don't have any prescription at all?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But it's coming for me. It's coming. It's coming.
She looks at everybody needing this stuff and you don't need it. That's incredible.
I know. It's kind of
You're
funny.
lucky.
In optometry school, everybody was like, what are you doing here?
But you're
Like,
lucky. That's
I know.
not, I mean, I would say probably 70% of people need some kind of corrective something.
Sounds about right.
Right?
Yeah. I know. I'm very lucky. Both my siblings
Yeah.
needed them. Both my parents did not.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I got lucky.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Is there anything else about eyes that we need to know, or anything that you wanted to, that you're like, you know what, I just wish people knew this, or and also why eyes? How did your parents get into, was this like just something you always liked?
Little girl who wanted to go to medical school. And as she kept getting closer and closer, thought maybe not medical school.
Maybe not as much blood and guts, a little bit more.
No, it wasn't blood and guts. I'm going to be honest. It was like it was more about spending time with my children, my
Gotcha.
future children who didn't exist yet.
Didn't even exist. That's
yeah,
so,
it was
so
more
interesting.
about like a balance of life. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, trust me, I did not fall into eyes very easily. It was, lots of tears and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I had a great advisor in college who was like, all right, Mervet, you don't have to go to medical school. Feet, backs, eyes, teeth. I said, I pick eyes.
Yeah, I would never pick feet. I can tell you that much. There's no way. I don't know who in the world picks the foot thing. I never understood that one. But eyes.
That's
It's a
how it
good one.
happened.
Yeah, it's a
And
good
that's
one.
exactly how it happened. And then I went and shouted at a few people, and I was like, done.
Yeah.
And I love this area, and
Yeah.
I love, all the people I get to meet and all the people I get to talk to. And, I have made so many friends through this
it's
career of mine. So
and you do a really good job.
No
you
regrets.
make people feel comfortable.
Thank you.
You're very kind, and
Thanks.
it's and conversational, which is nice too.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming on
Thank
here
you so much for having me.
to basically help people with this. I mean Hugo got hit in the head when he was told about his eyes, but we're trying to get past that. We're trying to do something be a little
Hugo,
different.
come see me. We have to see if there's any damage in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
never know.
But I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank
I
you
really
so much
do.
for having me.
And thanks for seeing me that night. It was really helpful.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Awesome. All right, Hugo. There we have it. I'm seeing so much better already. I just feel better. It's like I can see through everything. But no, go see Mervet Hachem. She's at the Lindsay Eye Care Center over here in Wyomissing. She's amazing. You'll love her. She'll fix you up. She'll make sure that you can see as well as you possibly can. And that's about it. And go every year, just in case you have glaucoma or you have cataract or anything else. You want to make sure you can get that taken care of right away. All right, that's about it. Thanks for seeing us every Thursday at 7 p.m. All right. Hey guys, this is Brad Weisman from The Brad Weisman Show. I don't know if you remember this, but a couple months ago, I had these three guys on. They have a company called BroGlow. Well, I have to tell you, I've been using their product now for several months, and I really, really like it. It gives you a nice tan. It's not orange. It's not blotchy. It's very, very even. They tell you how to apply it, and my mom and dad are using it. My wife is using it, and a lot of my friends are using it. It's an amazing product. So if you're looking to get a little tan before the summer hits, this is the way to go. Go to thebroglow.com, put in the discount code BRADW for 10% off. All right. Thanks for watching the show.